footage. I've seen far too much of it. It's seared in my brain at this point. These are videos from the morning of October 7th, when Hamas terrorists launched an attack in southern Israel. They killed over 1,400 men, women, and children, and they took close to 240 people hostage in Gaza. By the time I woke up here in New York on October 7th, I began frantically calling my many cousins, family members, and dear friends who all live in Israel. News notifications and rocket alerts immediately filled my phone. My family's in danger. I'm not sure if they're alive or dead. My friends are being deployed. This is real. Israel's at war. As the crow flies, this war is taking place almost 6,000 miles away. But as you will soon see, this war is not far from home. It's the home of my loved ones. My mother's family hails from there. My great aunt and cousins all live there. This war is close to my heart, and these people are close to my heart. And on October 7th, their lives changed forever. Since I'm here, and not in Israel, I thought I would document what it's like. Immediately after the attack, students, parents, strangers, parkgoers, and everybody alike gathered to grieve and to pray and to recount the horrors that had just occurred. In talking with people, it was clear that now is the time to be together in community, as not since the Holocaust had there been a more deadly day for the Jews.
The times when we were afraid are over. Don't be afraid to be Jews, to be Israeli.
Amen.
Don't be afraid. Walk proud on the streets. Keep your composure. All right? Be wise. All right? We are not come to fight. We come to peace. All right?
The reality began to set in for me. While I slept peacefully in my bed, half a world away, 1,400 Israelis were slaughtered. Israel was under attack. Downtown, midtown, uptown, everywhere. The solidarity with the people of Israel was palpable throughout the city. I remember I proudly sent videos and pictures to loved ones back in Israel, showing them that myself and the people of New York City had their backs.
The Jews are born to die. The Jews are born to be subjugated. The Jews are born to be dominated. The Jews are born to suffer. That is a mentality that we utterly reject. Jews deserve to live. Am Yisrael Chai.
I feel like the week following the October 7th attack, the city had been ignited with a spark. You could feel and see the raw emotion on people's faces. We felt anger and sadness and fear and indignance and pride. I mean, protest after protest, you could see and feel it everywhere. Quickly, people began to gather in the streets to proclaim that the dark days of Hamas are no more, and that hatred and terrorism had no place in our city and in our world. Shortly after, I made my way up to Columbia University, where it seemed like another war, an ideological war, had been reignited. Students were dancing and shouting and singing and marching as their voices filled the air. Pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian campus groups were split into two masses, each on either side of the quad. Just like the clips I'm sure you've seen on the news, this was really a sight to be seen. Troubled and confused by what I saw, I turned to Professor Shai Davidai, who recently went viral for a speech he made on October 7th.
I want this message to get to every parent in America who sends their kids to NYU, to Harvard, to Stanford, to Berkeley. And I want you to know one thing. We cannot protect your child.
You know, like people use the word like, "Oh, you're a Zionist." I'm like, yeah. Like are you trying to use that as a negative term? Like, yeah. Like, do I believe that Jews should have a place to be safe? Yeah.
We'll be free. We demand liberation. We demand liberation.
what is Zionism for me? It's the right for a Jewish self-determination and existence, right? And I came out as a Zionist on social media yesterday, and I said, I wrote something like, I'm a Zionist because I believe in Jewish rights, Jewish people to exist. My Zionism doesn't mean that I'm superior or inferior to anyone. My Zionism comes out of love and not hate.
A Cornell University student facing up to 5 years in prison if convicted of posting several threats to Jewish students.
The dialogue and the rhetoric here at Columbia has turned into threatening propaganda, and it isn't just during the protests, but they say it is in writing, it is in graffiti, and also one Jewish student here has been assaulted. And yet they say the university simply isn't doing enough to protect its Jewish students and to prevent this from escalating.
In the few days following the horrific attacks in Israel, it felt like the city was not allowing hate to prevail, as the Jewish communities in every borough united to march in solidarity against Jewish hatred. But that didn't last long, as slowly but surely pro-Hamas sympathizing groups and straight-up anti-Semites began to emerge throughout the city, and a grave reality began to kick in. Anti-Semitism is making a comeback in New York City. I want to make some distinctions. Being pro-Palestine does not make you anti-Israel, or definitely not anti-Semitic. Just the same as being pro-Israel doesn't make you anti-Palestinian. What we're looking at here is the line where anti-Israel rhetoric crosses into anti-Semitism.
One of my concerns is that this has been pegged as a Jewish problem. It's like, no, it's a Jewish problem, the Jews will fix it, kind of thing. Like, it's not our problem. Whereas, like, when we have issues with racism in society, it's not black people's problem. It's everyone's problem. When we have homophobia and transphobia, it's not the problems of the LGBTQ community. It's our problem as society. Somehow, this has been pegged as like, oh, it's Jews, you know.
Shai's reality was grim, but in the past few weeks, what I've also seen is a tremendous revival of Jewish identity in the young people of New York City and around the world. Our Jewishness has been reinforced and strengthened by the adversity and hatred around us. And just as the Jews have always done, we've persevered. So soon thereafter, I headed to the nation's capital, where on November 14th, over 290,000 people gathered together in Washington, D.C., to stand up for Israel and rally against anti-Semitism. Believe me when I tell you, never in my life have I felt the way I did in D.C. that day. I've never been prouder to be Jewish. I've never been more inspired by my own people. Almost 300,000 of us in one place, arm in arm, uniting to stand up to hatred. This is the student fight for Jewish life.
Thank you very much.